Over the weekend, 21st Century Fox said that, hey, you know what? We think we're gonna go ahead and investigate the sexual harassment claim against Bill O'Reilly. Well, good for you. I mean, he's had some sexual harassment allegations toward him since 2002, but who cares about that? This statement from Fox happened after a complaint was phoned in to the network's corporate hotline last week by Wendy Walsh, a former regular guest on Fox's The O'Reilly Factor TV show, and her lawyer, Lisa Bloom. Now, it is interesting that they phoned in to the network's hotline because the network itself kept saying, well, you know, all these women keep making these allegations against Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly, but no one called our hotline, right? So I think that Lisa Bloom and Wendy Walsh wanted to make a point about calling the hotline and making a big deal about this, as they should. Now, it is interesting, again, that Fox had no intention of doing a proper investigation until now, until this past weekend.
15 years after the beginning of all this?
It's crazy. I mean, they had no problem settling with 5 different women to the tune of, $13 million and defending Bill O'Reilly in the past. But now all of a sudden they're like, okay, maybe we should get some professionals involved and do an independent investigation of this. Now, as you guys probably already know, a number of advertisers did decide to pull out of the Bill O'Reilly show. And Howard Kurtz is the first Fox News host to even mention any of this on his program. So I want to show you the first clip where he talks about it. Take a look.
This week, more than 50 companies have pulled their advertising from O'Reilly's top-rated cable news program.
So I wanted to show you that clip because
it's top-rated. Yeah. Did you know that?
It's a top-rated. Like, they can't help themselves. Top-rated cable news program. No, but why is that even relevant to the discussion? They pulled their ads because Bill O'Reilly has been accused by several women who used to work at the network or currently work at the network of sexual harassment. And by the way, for anyone who might defend him even today because, hey, there's no proof, they settled, so we haven't seen any evidence. Keep in mind that in 2004, there was an audio recording of him calling his associate producer, Andrea Macris, and talking about how he wants to like rub a soapy loofah all over her body.
Falafel.
Later he called it a falafel because sometimes you work up an appetite when you're sexually harassing someone.
It's tasty.
Yeah, and so there's evidence of him doing this in the past, and so it's just crazy to constantly defend him even after that evidence was shown back in 2004. Now, one other quick thing, let's listen to what Howard Kurtz had to say about Fox's approach to all this.
This has been a difficult and uncomfortable period for the people who work here, no question about it. The network has been trying to move on, to change the culture, and to make clear that any kind of harassment is unacceptable.
It's been a really uncomfortable situation, almost as uncomfortable as a phone call with Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, is this a very difficult time for Howard Kurtz? Are you having a hard time because of these allegations? Oh, your life is very difficult. I'm sorry. Anyway.
They're trying to change the culture, but they're not really trying to change the culture. I mean, look, they're investigating it now. Yay, that's amazing. What do you think they're gonna find? Come on. They settled all those lawsuits. They know what's going on. It's like the Catholic Church in Boston. They know what's happening. They're now investigating because the heat is on them. And as much as they don't want to investigate it, they really don't want an independent investigation of Bill O'Reilly. And so they're gonna jump in front of it and they're gonna sweep it under the rug.
Yep.
You can expect that anytime now. And the culture will continue because they're not gonna fire Bill O'Reilly.
He's
top rated,
there.
I hear.
He's still there. That's the whole point. He's still there. Now, of course, since they're gonna launch this independent investigation, O'Reilly also needs to lawyer up. And it is a little ironic who he decided to hire to defend him. According to the New York Times, the conservative commentator who made his name in the 1990s disparaging then President Bill Clinton for having an extramarital affair, has hired Clinton's lawyer from the embattled Monica Gate era, Mark Fabiani. So, I don't know, ironic, strange, sad. Also,
I mean, he knows a lot about that area of law, I guess.
He does. And then finally, I think the most relevant part of this entire conversation, the fact that his audience continues to support him, and he has experienced a little bit of a ratings boost as a result of this scandal. So not last weekend, but the weekend before, the New York Times published that bombshell report indicating that 21st Century Fox had settled with 5 different women to the tune of $13 million. All of these women had made similar sexual harassment allegations against Bill O'Reilly. Well, right after that was published, here's what happened with Bill O'Reilly's ratings. Approximately 3.8 million people watched O'Reilly's show on Tuesday. That was the Tuesday after the New York Times published that report. That eclipsed last week, where O'Reilly's top-rated show had only 2.3 million viewers. O'Reilly's Monday and Tuesday shows had a 14% ratings bump from the previous week. Maybe that's the reason why Fox continues to employ him, even though, again, these accusations date back to 2002.
I mean, imagine you're like a kid. Thankfully, a kid doesn't pay attention to politics or to media like Fox News. But so if you sexually harass women, perhaps sexually abuse women, what do you get? Well, you can get a huge boost in your ratings, or you can become president of the United States. And I think some people who hate Fox News are gonna see this and they're gonna think, maybe not even consciously, okay, so this is terrible for those women, they're getting sexually harassed, but they're conservative women and they chose to work at Fox News. But we still have human dignity. And think about how allowing this old school Mad Men culture to continue at Fox News, that doesn't just hurt the employees of Fox News, it hurts their viewers. I mean, they would change if they were forced to. They might become not just more ethical, but better journalists if they weren't holding on to the old ways of doing business.
Right, and I think my past commentary in regard to conservative women makes clear that I don't necessarily fancy them. Right? But even with that said, they're humans, and regardless of their political ideology, I will do everything and anything necessary to support and protect them against this type of behavior.
Exactly.
Corporate media is awesome.
Wrong.
Independent media is the way to go.
Believe me, believe me.
Support independent media right now. Become a Young Turks member. TYTnetwork.com/join.